I guess we're just hitting record and recording whatever. Those of you listening, if you're wondering, what the hell are they talking about? Why did they record that? It's Mike's fault.
We're recording whatever. Whatever is just as, Well, you seem pleasant. I'm in a good mood because I haven't seen you all day, so what's wrong with you? All right, do you get sad when I leave? Is that what happens? You get sad when I'm not here, but I get happy when I'm not here.
I don't know.
So for you to be happy, I have to be miserable. Is that the yin-yang?
It definitely helps. I was just watching a Venom trailer. So you think we can fill up 30 minutes talking about Venom?
I'm sure we can.
You know I can because I love Venom.
First of all, our Friday episode's supposed to be like 20 minutes. We've been running long the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Okay, so Venom, the new trailer, the third trailer came out. Do we know when Venom is coming out?
I guess I can...
Here, okay, so while you're Googling when the movie's coming out, let me just say, here's one of my main beefs that I have with these movies, okay?
What do you mean by these?
The Marvel film, the superhero movies. They keep getting great actors, okay? Great actors that are fun to watch because they're so good. But what they do is, like, think of Robert Downey Jr. He was like the first one to start doing this, right?
Yeah.
So Robert Downey Jr. has been in one movie that's not a Marvel film in 10 years. So it's like, if we don't want to see Robert Downey Jr. play Iron Man, we could just not. We haven't seen him be in anything except for The Judge in 10 years.
Yeah.
So they grab them, and then, but what happens is the characters and the writing. Okay, so how many times has he played Iron Man? Like 8 times now or something? Like many, many times. And his character is no longer interesting because they haven't done an Iron Man movie. They haven't developed the Iron Man character. There's been no development because Iron Man 3 was like 5 or 6 years ago at this point. There's no more Iron Man development. We might get a scene or two of him in the Avengers or in Civil War where we see that he's still trying to get Pepper Potts, whatever her name is.
Piper picked Pepper.
Gwyneth Paltrow, Goop. He's still trying to get Goop to marry him.
Who's Goop?
Goop is Gwyneth Paltrow's makeup company.
Oh.
She calls it Goop. But you know what I mean? So we don't get to see him act in anything, and he doesn't get to act in anything in like a decade now. That's not Iron Man.
You know, because Disney is using the old studio system model lately.
Yeah.
I've seen it. What they do is they basically buy the actors and they're like on call in a way.
Yeah.
And they're not allowed. It's almost like what women go through for a beauty pageant. It's like, they can't smoke. They can't do anything in any way that would tarnish Disney's name. And
it's not even like they're not allowed to go make other movies, but they're churning out 4 Marvel films a year. He's got to be in every single one of them.
But also, if he makes something that Disney doesn't approve of.
Yeah, he can't come to a Beckemeyer movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, like Tom Hardy, who's in Venom, I love Tom Hardy. He's one of the most intense actors you could see on screen.
He is great.
He is intimidating too.
Intense.
Like even though people didn't really like the Bane from the Dark Knight.
Yeah, but
what was the name of that movie?
He did his best to make it.
He
made it better than it was going to be.
Scary, and he's in a movie called I'm not even just one movie. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but the movies he's in, he's just so quiet, and it's kind of his ability to sit there silently and just like look at you is kind of scary, But now they got him playing something completely different, which I understand the interest in playing something that's different than something he's already done. But that's all he's going to do for the next 10 years. Like, how much fun can that be after the second or third time of doing it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but those guys are, if they're smart, they're gonna bank all that money. They're gonna build up. They'll if they do it right, when they get out of the contract, they'll be set up for life and can do whatever movie they want.
Tom Hardy was already Robert Downey Jr. They're already set up for life. They're already these people are already millionaires. It's like they don't. What else? You know what I mean? And
I guess
I get wanting to do it. I would love to make a superhero movie once. I don't want to make 20 of them. You know what I mean? It's just
I want to make superhero movies, but I want to tell stories that haven't been told before. I want to show, gritty, darker side,
right.
Emotional, like daily life kind of stuff.
Right. So, but even like, think about it. Like the actors just in, well, we can't say just in Infinity War because they're all in Infinity War, but like Benedict Cumberbatch, who was a great actor.
They're not all Infinity War because Fox just got X-Men and Fantastic Four, which they could be putting them in the future Infinity War.
Right, but think about when... just think about Infinity War, though. There's Benedict Cumberbatch, there's Elizabeth Olsen, there's like all those actors, they're all great. But then 5 years goes by and the only thing we've seen them do is one thing. It just, that is wearing thin on me at times. Like every now and then when I, when I haven't seen a Marvel film in a while and I don't go in and get wowed by the thing, like you walk out and you go, oh, it's a lot better than I thought it was going to be, or blah, blah, blah. But in between, I'm just sitting here thinking, it would drive me crazy to not get to do something else,
Right, but it's not a permanent thing. I think everybody by now, they know what they're getting into, and it's good for them. I mean, every actor wants to be. I forget who we were talking with. Maybe it was Marco DeGeorge from the acting studio. Truthful Acting. I think he said, we were talking about actors getting typecasted, and he said, you want to get typecasted, even though it can be a problem for some actors. But he said that's every actor's dream, get typecasted as a thing, and then get hired to do that all the time because it's steady work.
Right.
So I don't know. I think, I don't know. There's pros and cons to it, but I don't think people are being forced into it. And if they are, it's because they need the money or the whatever.
Well, no, nobody's forcing them into it, but I will say this.
I think there's more good than bad.
There's like 80 or 90% of the movies, 80 or 90% of the movies making it into theaters these days seem to be a superhero movie. And it's almost like if they want to be in a successful franchise, like somebody like Robert Downey Jr., he wants to make interesting movies, right? So that he can make interesting movies, he's got to go take a job where he's in a franchise that's big and successful and popular so that when people see Robert Downey Jr. in something else, they'll go see that. But he's got to do the one for them, one for me sort of a thing.
Yeah.
Right? So that makes sense to me. However, it's the only thing out in theaters. It's not the only thing. There are dozens and dozens of movies that come out every year, but you know what I mean. Like, if you're not in one of the Marvel films, like what other big budget film can you be in to make your name more bankable for the smaller things you want to do? There's not much.
Yeah. And DC is still struggling. Still.
Always. Yeah, still. Like, okay, so before we get too far off the I don't want to slam on DC.
Yeah, I don't know.
The Venom. Like, I don't know anything about Venom except for the trailers. So is he a bad guy?
Starts out as a bad guy, but Eddie Brock, who's the guy that gets taken over, is generally a good guy. In the comics and cartoons, he admires Spider-Man and wants to be Spider-Man. And the symbiote is what it's called. It's like this intelligent goo.
Symbiote always sounds like a made-up name to me. And it always sounds like someone's saying it wrong. No,
it's an organism that survives off the life force of another, but then they are symbiotic. They help each other out.
Right. So, but it seems to me from the trailer that the Venom character is not helping the other guy. The guy he takes over, he's not
right.
helping.
The symbiote needs, a human or a body to work with.
Right, so what's the other guy getting out of it? He's just now stuck in a...
Well, if he doesn't get completely taken over by the symbiote, they can... I don't know. Well, see, part of when they merge, the symbiote takes on part of the personality of the host. So the original storyline, I don't know exactly how they're doing it in Venom, but the symbiote originally got onto Spider-Man. Okay, so then Spider-Man gets it off of him, and then he gets...
Is it just like chewing?
No, with sound waves. It hates loud sounds, like me.
Like this?
Oh, don't do that.
So sound waves get the thing off of him.
Right. So
how does he figure that out?
He just happened to be just going around in his adventures while he's enjoying the suit. He notices that when something really loud happens, the suit reacts, and
Right. You call it a suit, but it looks more like it's part of his.
Yeah,
part of him.
It becomes part.
So is it a suit that he originally puts on?
No.
Okay, so
he just wakes up.
Why do you call
Spider-Man wakes up like Black Spider-Man one day. And not the way...
Is he a cool motherfucker?
He doesn't know.
Is he a
he
bad motherfucker?
He doesn't suddenly know how to dance and can dunk basketballs.
Is he a bad motherfucker?
He's in a Black Spider-Man suit.
So, okay, so when it takes over the Spider-Man suit, not necessarily...
In a way, but...
This is confusing. You
keep
calling it a suit.
Well, it becomes... Because it got attached to Spider-Man first... And Spider-Man, puts on a suit and does his hero stuff. The symbiote became that for him, and then started helping him. And he was cooler Spider-Man. But because the symbiote is like a child emotionally, it doesn't know how to handle human emotions and all of that. So it takes an emotion to what did we call it? To 11. Right, so anger, jealousy, whatever, violence. So Spider-Man started noticing he's more violent and just doing things he would never do, realized that it was the suit. Gets rid of it, and then it ends up on Eddie Brock. And which is why, when it's on Eddie Brock, it retains a Spider-Man look. It's like a bigger... scarier Spider-Man.
Like the Spider-Man head-shaped head.
So you got Eddie Brock, who loves Spider-Man but hates Peter Parker, and then it merges with...
Why does he hate Peter Parker?
And then it's not Venom yet, but the symbiote merges with Eddie Brock, who knows Spider-Man's secret, that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. So then they both the symbiote and Eddie Brock, want to kill Spider-Man. But when they merge, and they become Venom.
So why does he hate Peter Parker?
Because Peter Parker and Eddie Brock are competing at the, what do you call it, newspaper?
How many comic book heroes work at a newspaper?
Yeah,
it seems like an inordinate amount of them.
I just know of two, Superman and Spider-Man, so who else? You're making it like it's a thing, but I don't know of more than two
Well, there's
people.
always like a newspaper character in. So there's Lois Lane. Maybe not. It just seems like
you're making
it just no. I mean, it just seems like a lot of people. Peter Parker's a photographer.
Yes.
Right. So do you feel like this movie starts out by leaving off the Spider-Man part of the story?
Well, that's what's unclear. What I've seen so far from this new trailer is that they are keeping in line with in all the other storylines I've seen with the symbiote, where it came from space. So I saw that it came from space. It latched onto some kind of a space shuttle or satellite, and they grabbed it and started doing experiments. But for what I can see in here, there's not going to be a lot of Spider-Man, and apparently they attached a symbiote to several different people, so it looks like we're going to get Venom fighting several different symbiotes with what I'm assuming would be different abilities.
So it does seem like maybe they're skipping the whole Spider-Man getting it first.
I think so, but that's the coolest part. I mean, there are rumors that maybe somewhere in the movie, because when he goes to fight Carnage, it's like the coolest thing. Spider-Man and Venom teaming up to fight Carnage, and then Venom still hates Spider-Man, so he kind of, like, you know how Hulk punches like Hulk and Thor have a thing where they'll hit each other while they're fighting other people, you know.
Puny God. Isn't that what he says?
So, yeah, Venom would be rough with Spider-Man, and I don't know. It looks better. The more I see of it, the cooler it looks.
Right. I mean,
way better than Spider-Man 3.
I know how excited people are about it, so when I saw the trailer, I thought, that looks good. But I don't know comic books pretty much at all. I know of certain characters. So when people say, "Oh, it's Venom," I'd heard that before, but I thought Venom was a villain. You know,
yes,
like a Spider-Man villain.
He starts out a villain, but Eddie Brock is good at heart, and he gets more and more control over the symbiote.
I gotta tell you something.
And they make an agreement. I'm talking, man.
It doesn't matter how good at heart you are. We only count by your actions.
Right.
So if you're killing police officers and stuff like that...
That's the symbiote. There's a battle.
Nobody's going to believe... Oh, you were in there, but the symbiote killed the police officers.
It's sort of like Hulk and Bruce Banner. You know, Hulk is his own personality and is constantly fighting. You know, they have to find a middle ground. So Venom and Eddie Brock have to find a middle ground. And I believe Marvel's plans are for... that Venom becomes a good guy, because that eventually in the comics he becomes a hero, because everyone loved Venom so much. I don't like him so much as a good guy. I like him as a bad good guy, where he
like an anti-hero.
Yeah,
like the marketing on this is embrace your anti-hero.
Yeah,
I think is what it said, at least in the teaser trailer. Embrace your anti-hero.
Yeah, so like he's the bad guy until someone else worse comes along, and then he's a good guy.
That happens so much in movies and TV shows, though, where the bad guy is the bad guy, and then suddenly people like the character, so they start making the bad guy have the struggle of maybe I'm good, and then wanting to change, and they become good. And I feel like it lets all the steam, like all the air out of the balloon, when you have a really great villain that just suddenly becomes like a good guy. Yeah. So I think, what I like about it is that it seems darker, and it's not darker like Bleak, but just like darker in terms of like it's anti-hero. So it's not really like a guy trying to fight the bad guys.
And speaking of that, which is part of, and that might be why we might not see Spider-Man in Venom, is because they want it to be separate from the current Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Why?
Well, because of what you just said. It's darker and it's got its own tone. The Marvel movies lately have a family, funny, cheeky sort of vibe.
But I'm pretty sure this movie is going to fall right in line with standard PG-13 stuff.
Yeah. But Venom is like a Wolverine if he was just on rage, let loose.
Right.
Or the Hulk.
So what you're telling me is...
I'm just saying I like that there's an evil, dark part that's like, kill this guy, kill him, and then Eddie Brock's like, no, just...
But based on knowing nothing, I like the fact that there's a good guy trapped inside of the bad guy.
Right.
And he's trying to stop it.
In fact, you could see in the trailer at points, he doesn't have control. It's shooting out of his back and doing things while he's just moving forward or riding his bike.
So what you're telling me is Venom technically should be a rated R movie, like Deadpool.
If done right, then people would be getting hurt or eaten or stuff would... Yes, it'd be more violent, like watching like a Weapon X movie would be. Weapon X would be Wolverine before he became good guy in X-Men. Where he's just like cutting It's more like the last one with Xavier.
It was Logan.
Logan?
Yeah, Logan, yeah.
You know how he's cutting arms off and heads off and all of that? That's how Wolverine's supposed to be all the time.
So, like, your review of the trailer is that it looks like there's at least sticking in line with the comic book storyline.
Sort of. They've got some of the symbiote bad guys that are in the storyline, but my negative is that it's Spider-Man. I'm going to be very disappointed if we don't see Spider-Man in it.
You feel like they nailed the look of the...
Oh, okay, yeah. As far as the character of Venom, now I've seen enough to know, that's Venom. I can tell you that's Venom done right.
And he's got these, like, jagged, sharp teeth but he's still talking as if he's got a mouth.
Yeah, but you could see...
You've seen him. He's got these teeth, and you can't, like... And it's not like you were saying, a ventriloquist.
I was saying that, yeah.
The ventriloquist's teeth are, like, straight, flat all the way across.
They smile, and their bottom lip touches their teeth.
Right.
To make the M's and the P's.
But this guy's got, like basically needles for teeth.
Yeah.
And he's, like... the microphone can't see what I'm doing. Is like that he's got these needles for teeth that air is going to come in and out of. How's he talking?
Yeah, but you should see in the trailer that his face opens up. You can see Eddie Brock's mouth moving underneath. His lips are moving.
Right. So what I'm saying, that's my question. Is he doing the talking? So what you have here, it's almost like an Inception. You've got the symbiote taking over the Tom Hardy character. But Tom Hardy is talking for Venom, and Venom's mouth is moving. So who's in charge?
Venom's using his body. At first, Venom takes control. And then eventually, and there was a part, that was in the trailer too, where they made an agreement. Like by the end of the trailer, they said, blah, 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 blah. Do we agree on this? And then... So, at some point, they agree, okay, we're going to work together on doing this. Because fighting each other, makes it more difficult.
Right.
Yeah.
So, did you find when it's coming out?
And also, he was using the Venom you could see his lips touching. So, I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Well, once or twice his mouth opens and closes, but he's stuck in a permanent, like, clown grin.
Yeah.
And his teeth,
awesome.
Yeah. So when does it come out?
It's looked like October 5th.
Okay, so it's coming out in October.
Yeah.
Okay, so about...
I love the tongue. You were like, why is he licking that guy? And I'm saying, if you had a tongue that was just hanging out and dangling, you would lick stuff too.
Well,
I'd be licking things.
Yeah, but I'd find some ice cream or some shit, not a dude. I'm not going to go lick a dude.
Or that girl, what's her name?
Michelle Williams. That's another one. She is another one who... She's an interesting actor. I hope she doesn't get sucked into the vortex of, like, superhero movies, and that's all we ever see her in for the next 10 years.
But you'd rather... Right, but you'd rather see Venom lick her. Right?
I don't know about seeing Venom lick. I mean, it's kind of disgusting, kind of gross.
Insinuating... Is that insinuating? I don't know. Inferring?
Well, I'm just saying that if I was Venom, I wouldn't be licking some old fat guy. You know what I mean?
You'd lick Michelle Williams.
Well, I mean, that's, hashtag Me Too and everything. I don't know if it's appropriate, even if I'm Venom, to go around licking people.
Don't go back into my past and replay this audio saying that I want to lick Michelle.
Like in 5 years, people are going to come out against Venom, and Venom's like, yeah, he has to be excommunicated from society because...
Venom's a tongue rapist.
I don't know if what we're saying is funny.
That was funny.
It might be too...
You're just scared that you're going to be judged.
Wrong, yeah.
Whatever. God. Okay, we're done. Right?
Yeah, so that's it for this Friday episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Venom comes out in October, which we're kind of looking... I'm looking for it. I'm interested. If we're going to get pummeled with these movies, at least they're doing interesting things that I'm sort of interested... I'm interested in seeing how it is. And... it looks cool and all that stuff, and I like
Yeah.
the thing that it's like an anti-hero thing. So if we're gonna be stuck with stuff like, at least they're taking some more chances. I really think Deadpool proved to them that they can go off book a little bit with what, like, they were like, honestly, man, the Avengers 2 and the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, like Guardians of the Galaxy was, or maybe it was Ant-Man. No, it was Guardians of the Galaxy that proved, oh, we can do things that are a little funny. And then they're
Ant-Man too.
Then they're, yeah, but the Guardians of the Galaxy was first. Like, it's like, oh, we can do this. We can tell a story that's exciting, but also a little bit funny. So that, like, they weren't going to be funny.
And
for a
after
while.
that, every movie
Thor
now
and
everything,
is that, like,
yeah.
So they're like finding the things that work, and then they're like, put that in everything because that worked. But Deadpool came out, and it proved to them that they can go a little darker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it's adding on to it, because they were like swinging like right down the middle of the aisle for a long time with their movies, and it was starting to get, oh, another one of these movies where the exact same thing happens to a different list of characters who all are apparently invincible. So it was like, hey, who wants to see that movie 20 times? Not me.
Yeah.
I barely want to see it the first time.
I do want to say before we go to everyone who's listening that also, I think, well, they might not have watched our WTF previews little thing that we tried.
Yeah, probably not.
But I was so excited about Venom, and because I was hyping myself on thinking, if you know anything about Spider-Man, Carnage is a big deal. He's big power, one of the most powerful enemies he fights, which required Venom and Spider-Man to team up to fight him. So I was like, Venom versus Carnage, yes, Venom. But I've seen enough now and read some leaks and stuff where that says that we might possibly see Carnage at the end, like an end credits tease or something. But it looks like, for the most part, we're going to see the different... I forget what it was called, but there's a storyline where several different symbiotes were made up to, like, kind of like as an army to fight. And they had different abilities that Venom didn't have. So it looks like, from what I could see, all the different people they were putting symbiotes on, that he's not going to fight Carnage. He's just going to fight different... slightly more powerful symbiotes,
Right?
Which is cool, because
it's an origin story.
If as long as I get Venom versus Carnage, and please Spider-Man in the next Venom movie, whatever they want, now I'll be happy.
Well, don't
say that.
Don't say that, because they could still just fuck it up.
Venom can lick whoever he wants, as long as
I see Spider-Man standing next to him. Okay. All right, well, that's it. So that's it for this Friday. We will see you on Tuesday, where we're probably going to do a review of Blind Spotting.
Yes.
Or maybe the 8th grade, depending on which one we get to see.
If we can see both.
I would love to see both.
I want to see both.
If our movie passes are working, like if you're following the news, movie passes, like maybe not.
Yeah.
We don't know. So, anyway, that's it for this week. If you want to catch up with us, we are movieisms.com. You can, of course, subscribe to our show there. Find us everywhere. We're working on getting ourselves on Spotify, which is cool. And, yeah, that's it.
All right, peeps, the end.
Don't say peeps. Don't say
Word to your mother. Yeah, the white guy.
We gotta talk like this now.
Yeah, later.
Yeah. End.
The end. The end.
Movieisms is a production of Super Mega Ultra Entertainment and is produced by Michael Beckemeyer and Bradley Kingston. If you'd like to find out more, follow us on Twitter or Instagram. And make sure you click like on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/movieisms. If you're enjoying this podcast, please take a moment and give us a 5-star review in iTunes. It only takes a minute, and it helps us out more than you can imagine. Thank you very much, and until next time, we'll see you at the movies.